Hi guys, Gilly Hunt here with a little tiny thank you or note card for you today, featuring this lovely little bird. Isn't he cute? I'll show you where I've got him from in a moment, but he's from one of these papers. Aren't they lovely? These are the Bird Ballard Designer Series papers, part of the design suite, which has lots and lots of lovely bits and pieces, all that mix and match and merge together to make your card making fabulous. So this is the series. As ever, we're available at this particular shop from me, and I'd love to show you this card. So I've taken, let me take a lot of those out of the way. I've taken, oh hang on, we've got two there. I've taken this little chap from this particular piece of paper, which is just full of lovely images of birds. You could use it as a full piece, but I rather like to cut out the birds. So here he is, he belongs there, look. So I've cut him out using our lovely snips scissors. If you're ever looking for scissors, these are fabulous. They're very narrow bladed, really easy to cut with, an absolute dream. And at under a tenner, you can't go wrong. You just have to have a pair. Okay, so here it is. This is the one we're going to use. So there he is. I've also cut out a couple of extra little pieces, which are just tiny bits of leaf and blossom. I'm not too worried about this end of the blossom because I'm going to tuck it underneath, but I wanted this little leaf because what I want to do is just extend that design a little bit further out. Okay, I'm going to take myself a note card size piece of the Blushing Bride colour, folded in half, note card size, but any size that you like. And then I've taken from the Stitched Nested Labels die set. I've used some of these dies to cut myself out a Whisper White, a Calypso Coral and a Blushing Bride. Three lovely stitched, aren't they beautiful? Let's show you the detailed edge. Isn't that a fabulous edge with this little stitching marks all the way along? Gives you a lovely professional cut. And that, we could have chosen any number or any size or shape of those, but those are the ones I've chosen because they fit particularly nicely on my card. Okay, and all I'm going to think about is designing this to go together. Now I could line it up all nicely and neatly and spend time and care, and then I could put my image on and keep it as pure and simple as that, which I did debate about, I must say. I did debate about. And then I thought, actually, it makes a bit of sense to give this background a little bit of design too, because although that's really nice and simple, and I do like a nice simple card, I think he's kind of adds it adds a little bit to him to have a little bit more of a fussy background. So I'm going to open out this card. I'm going to bring in a piece of post-it note, and I'm going to just line that up and stick it down across there. Okay, and I'm now going to bring in just a scrap piece of card that I can put underneath here because I don't want to damage my background. And I'm bringing in from the Free as a Bird, so it's from the same set, the Free as a Bird stamp set. I'm bringing in this little flower, which I absolutely love because it's brilliant for backgrounds. And I'm going to use it with Blushing Bride inks on the Blushing Bride card, so it will show up, but it'll give us more of a background feel rather than something very strong. So I'm going to just take a quick dip, and I'm going to just go 1, 2 fairly randomly all over the place. This reminds me of the rugby match I've just gone to, because I can hear it going 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. It's a bit like a rugby chant. Sadly we lost, and I got very wet in the rain, but never mind. So here we go, 1, 2, cha cha cha, 1, 2, and all I'm doing is just making sure every last little piece of this is covered, because I actually want you to stop looking at the flowers in a minute, and I want you to start thinking of it more as a texture. I'm not too worried about the middle because that's where the cutouts are going to go from the die cuts. So I'm just going to now go and do a few more solid ones right round the edge to make sure. What I hope has happened is that instead of you now seeing lots and lots of flowers, what you're seeing is more of a textured background. That's what we're after. Okay, so let's just put those out of the way, and let's come back in here. Taking this away, we could have gone all the way across the back and we could have had a completely textured piece of card, but for this I thought it would be quite nice just to do the front. Okay, so there's the front of our card. I'm now going to come back in with the big long piece, but before I do that I want to just check out where I want to put him across the middle, because what I want is for underneath that background card for some of these little tiny pieces to be put in. Yeah, so that's where I want him. So it's a very approximate, so I just keep my eye on that little piece there, and I'm just going to put a few little dots of glue on that, and it was approximately there. Just make sure that that leaf's not sticking over the edge, because otherwise the minute it goes in the envelope we'll start losing the edge of the leaf and it'll get damaged, which would be a shame, wouldn't it? So a few little dibs and dabs, and opposite there, we're not too fussed about getting it exact. And then we're going to start adding our layers. So again, a few little tips of glue. This is very nice, strong, wonderful glue, so it doesn't need too many, just a couple in the middle to ensure it holds place. And then that's going to go centrally. And this is where I have a bit of a decision to make, because I quite like, I'm a bit of a wonky girl, so I quite like it on the wonk like that, sort of a bit not quite squared up. So I think I'm going to do that. But you could, if you're a nice squared, symmetrical person, you could have it beautifully centred. It's up to you. Oh, I might go for centred. No, I'm going to go on the wing. Oh, I can't decide. Let's do it as I do it. I'm going to do it. I tell you what, I'm going to make my decision based on the fact that I'm making a video, and actually when you're making a video it's very hard to sort of stop shaking hands, and so I'm going to go slightly on the wonk, and then it won't matter. The only thing that I do have to be careful with, and I'm going to show you up close here, is this beautiful edge is so pretty, but because it's gone through a die, it very slightly rounds the edge too, which is what makes this such a lovely edge, because it doesn't look so cut. So just be careful that you make sure you get it the right way up, because although it's very nice this way up, it's not as pretty a pattern because these are popping upwards. So this is the back. There's definitely a back and a front to these. Okay. And I'm going to put that one just slightly off as well. Now, just a little bit of a tip. If you're doing something that's on the on the wonk or on the wobble or whatever we want to call it, make sure it's properly so. If you're not careful and you do it only a little bit off, then sometimes it can just look as if you've not quite got it square. So that's why I've splayed mine quite a bit, zigging and zagging. Okay, and I'm going to just make that look as if that branch connects to those little twigs, and I'm going to just bring him at an angle so that those also look. There he is. And there you go. There's my little take on a tiny little note card for you for today. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.